Imagine a leader so powerful, so revered that his murder sends shockwaves through the world. This was Julius Caesar, a man who went from a Roman general to a near deity in the eyes of his people. But on March 15, 44 BC, his life was cut short in a brutal act that changed the course of history. This is the story of the assassination of Julius Caesar. The assassination of Julius Caesar was not just a political murder, it was a seismic event. It marked the end of the Roman Republic, a 500-year experiment in self-governance, and paved the way for the rise of the Roman Empire. It is a tale of ambition, betrayal, and the enduring power of ideas. On that fateful day, Caesar entered the Senate, unaware of the treachery that awaited him. The conspirators, led by Brutus and Cassius, had meticulously planned his assassination. They believed that by eliminating Caesar, they could restore the Republic and end his perceived tyranny. However, their actions only led to more chaos and bloodshed. As Caesar fell, he famously uttered the words, "Et tu, Brute," expressing his shock and betrayal at seeing his friend among the attackers. This moment has since become a symbol of ultimate betrayal and the complexities of political power. The aftermath of Caesar's assassination was immediate and far-reaching. Rome was plunged into a series of civil wars, and the power vacuum left by his death was quickly filled by his adopted heir, Octavian, who would later become Augustus, the first Roman emperor. The assassination of Julius Caesar is a pivotal moment in history, illustrating the fragile nature of power and the unpredictable consequences of political actions. It serves as a reminder of the enduring impact of leadership, ambition, and the quest for control. Even today, the story of Caesar's rise and fall continues to captivate and teach us about the complexities of human nature and governance. It is a tale that remains etched in the annals of history, a day truly etched in blood. Julius Caesar was born into a turbulent era of Roman history. The Republic, once a beacon of stability, was racked by internal strife and corruption. Caesar, a brilliant military strategist and charismatic leader, quickly rose through the ranks. He conquered Gaul, modern-day France, expanding Rome's territory and filling its coffers with wealth. Caesar's military victories made him a hero to the Roman people. He used his popularity, along with his growing wealth and influence, to consolidate power. He formed a political alliance known as the First Triumvirate with two other powerful men, Pompey the Great and Marcus Licinius Crassus. This alliance, however, was destined to crumble. As Caesar's power grew, so too did the resentment among Rome's elite. They saw him as a threat to the Republic, a man who craved absolute power. The Senate, Rome's governing body, became a hotbed of opposition to Caesar. They feared his ambition and his disregard for traditional Roman values. The death of Crassus in battle further destabilized the triumvirate. Pompey, once Caesar's ally, now saw him as a rival. The stage was set for a showdown that would determine the fate of Rome. Civil war erupted, pitting Caesar's legions against those loyal to Pompey and the Senate. Caesar emerged victorious from the civil war, crushing Pompey's forces and solidifying his control over Rome. He returned to the city not as a general but as a dictator, a title that sent chills down the spines of many senators. They saw him as a tyrant, a man who had destroyed the republic they held dear. A group of senators led by the idealistic Brutus and the cunning Cassius began to plot Caesar's assassination. They believed that by removing Caesar from power they could restore the republic to its former glory. They chose the Ides of March 15th, as the date for their deadly deed. Section 5. The Assassination Brutality in the Senate. On the Ides of March, Caesar entered the Senate, unaware of the plot against him. He dismissed his bodyguard, a fatal mistake that sealed his fate. As Caesar sat on his golden throne, the conspirators surrounded him, their daggers hidden beneath their togas. Casca struck the first blow, plunging his dagger into Caesar's neck. Caesar, shocked and wounded, cried out in disbelief. The other senators, their faces contorted with a mix of fear and determination, joined the attack. Caesar, stabbed multiple times, collapsed at the foot of a statue of Pompey, his blood staining the marble floor. Section 6. The Aftermath. Rome in Chaos. The assassination of Caesar did not have the desired effect. Instead of restoring the Republic, it plunged Rome into a new period of turmoil and civil war. The Roman people, upon hearing of Caesar's murder, were outraged. They had adored Caesar, who had brought them peace and prosperity. Mark Antony, Caesar's loyal lieutenant, skillfully manipulated the public's grief and anger, turning them against the assassins. He formed a new alliance, the Second Triumvirate, with Octavian, Caesar's adopted son, and Marcus Aemilius Lepidus, their goal to avenge Caesar's death and crush the conspirators. Section 7. The Rise of the Empire, from Republic to Autocracy. A series of bloody conflicts followed, culminating in the defeat of Brutus and Cassius at the Battle of Philippi in 42 BC. This battle was a turning point, marking the end of the Roman Republic's final attempt to restore its former glory. The forces of Mark Antony and Octavian, who were initially allies, crushed the armies of the assassins of Julius Caesar. The aftermath of this battle set the stage for a new power struggle, as the victors began to vie for control over the vast territories of Rome. The Second Triumvirate, however, proved to be as unstable as the first. Formed by Octavian, Mark Antony, and Lepidus, it was meant to consolidate power and bring order to the Republic, yet internal conflicts and personal ambitions soon led to its downfall. The alliance was fraught with mistrust and betrayal, as each member sought to outmaneuver the others for supreme power. Lepidus was sidelined, and Octavian and Mark Antony eventually turned on each other. Lepidus, once a powerful figure, was forced into retirement, leaving Octavian and Antony to battle for dominance. Their rivalry intensified, fueled by political and personal animosities, especially as Antony's relationship with Cleopatra of Egypt grew stronger. The final showdown came at the Battle of Actium in 31 BC, where Octavian's forces decisively defeated those of Mark Antony and his lover, Cleopatra of Egypt. This naval battle was one of the most significant in ancient history, determining the fate of the Roman world. Antony and Cleopatra's fleet was no match for Octavian's well-prepared and strategically superior forces. Their defeat marked the end of an era and the beginning of Octavian's unchallenged rule. With his enemies vanquished, Octavian became the undisputed ruler of Rome, taking the title Augustus. This marked the dawn of a new age, as Augustus ushered in the Pax Romana, a period of relative peace and stability across the empire. His reign transformed Rome, laying the foundations for an empire that would endure for centuries. The Roman Republic was dead, replaced by the Roman Empire. The transition from a republic to an autocracy was complete, as Augustus established a new political order. The Senate still existed, but real power now lay with the emperor. This shift had profound implications for Rome and its provinces, as the empire expanded and evolved under the rule of its emperors. Section 8. Caesar's Legacy, a mixed bag of good and evil. Julius Caesar's assassination was a pivotal moment in Roman history, marking the end of one era and the beginning of another. It was the culmination of a long and bloody struggle for power, a struggle that had its roots in the very foundations of the Roman Republic. Caesar's legacy is complex and multifaceted. He was a brilliant military commander, a shrewd politician, and a gifted writer. He left an indelible mark on Roman law, language, and culture. Yet he was also a ruthless autocrat who undermined the very institutions he claimed to protect. Section 9. Conclusion. A turning point in history. The assassination of Julius Caesar on the Ides of March 44 BC was a watershed moment in world history. This pivotal event not only marked the violent end of one of Rome's most influential leaders, but also set into motion a series of events that would forever alter the course of history. The conspirators, led by Brutus and Cassius, believed they were saving the Republic from Caesar's growing power, but their actions had unforeseen consequences. It marked the end of the Roman Republic and paved the way for the rise of the Roman Empire. The power vacuum left by Caesar's death led to a period of civil war and turmoil, ultimately resulting in the rise of Augustus and the establishment of the Roman Empire. This transition from republic to empire was not just a change in political structure, but also a transformation in Roman society, culture, and governance. It is a tale of ambition, betrayal, and the enduring power of ideas. The story of Caesar's assassination is a complex web of political intrigue, personal vendettas, and philosophical debates about power and governance. The senators who plotted against Caesar were driven by a mix of fear, jealousy, and genuine concern for the Republic's future. Their actions, however, led to unintended consequences that reshaped the world. The events of that fateful day continue to fascinate and inspire us today, reminding us of the fragility of power and the enduring legacy of the past. Historians and scholars still debate the motivations and implications of Caesar's assassination, and its story has been retold in countless books, plays, and films. This enduring fascination speaks to the timeless nature of the themes involved: power, loyalty, and the struggle for control. Caesar's death serves as a stark reminder that even the most powerful individuals are not immune to the currents of history. His assassination underscores the idea that power is both fleeting and fragile, subject to the whims and actions of others. It also highlights the impact that a single event can have on the course of history, shaping the future in ways that are often unpredictable and far-reaching.